This is a full review, everything you would want to know about the new Aeroo Pro fishing drone. Part 1, what's in the box? So we'll just do a quick unboxing and see what we get in the case. It comes with a nice sturdy case, carry case, handle on the top, and also has some attachments for a strap on the sides, a shoulder strap. Inside there we have a spare set of blades, and it actually comes with 4 blades. In the little bag here we have some cables, and this is to attach your phone to the drone with. They have the USB-C cable to lightning cable, and also a USB-C to USB-C cable. And also there is a little tweezers, and those little tweezers would be used to insert the SD card and remove the SD card from the drone. We also have this little screwdriver. It's a Phillips, and this will be used to replace the propellers with if you ever need to. Inside the lid we have a nice pouch, nice big pouch, and I received a Aeroo Pro t-shirt, Aeroo sticker. Inside the bag of goodies we have a landing pad, another little bag. Inside this bag we have the payload release wire. We have 3 sets of safety release clips, along with 3 sets of split rings that goes on the clips, and also 3 sets of the safety release pins. And those pins will go into the drone like that and pull out. So you attach your payload cable to the one end, and the other end will go into the release clip, and that is a safety release. Now we get to the drone. Inside the drone case we have the controllers. Inside this little box we have the USB charging cable for the remote, and we have the shoulder strap for the bag. Inside the other box, because this is the combo kit, we have the 4-station charger, and that comes with a 240 volt power supply. Output is 25.2 volts, 2 amps, 50.4 watts. We have another battery, so it comes with 2 batteries, one already in the drone and another battery spare. This drone also comes with propellers already fitted, so it's an extra set of propellers and not just one set like most other drones do. And then last but not least, we have this beast of a drone. Just look at it, it's massive, and first feel of it is just sturdy. It's really well built. The bottom of the drone has the release mechanism right there with a push button that will open and close the pin. Comes with some down facing sensors for landing and judging its height, and also an LED light over there and some fans to keep it cool. The front of the drone we have the gimbal protection. Right, and if I hold this sideways you should be able to see these little pins on the side, and that's what you push to remove the gimbal cover. On the lens of the camera there's a little plastic, and you can remove this plastic. So this is everything you get in the drone combo kit. You get the drone, a battery, the gimbal protector, the landing pad, the spikes. I got a t-shirt, a sticker, a set of propellers and the screwdriver, the cable, connecting cable for the phone to connect to your controller. You get the payload release wire, the USB charging cable for the remote. You get the 240-volt charger for the batteries, the multi-station 4-station charger, a strap, some pins, release pins, safety release clips, and the 3 split rings, and an extra battery. All in all, a lot of gear that you get with this kit. Part 2. Connecting and setting up the Aeroo Pro Drone for the first time. So the first step is to go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the Aeroo Fly app. Once you've opened the app, you then register now and register a email address and password, and you'll receive a verification code via email. The next step would be to connect your phone to the controller, and you do that by opening up this bottom part. Make sure your charging port is on the right hand side. The reason for that is you need to connect it with this cable. So it's a hardwire connection between the controller and your phone. So no Wi-Fi loss or Wi-Fi signal loss. It's a hardwire, which gives it a way better connection. That just clips in there. And normally just tuck in this little bit of wire inside the bottom of your phone like that, so it's out the way and it won't get snagged with your fingers. Next, we turn on the remote by simply holding the button in. Quickly press the power button and then press it again and hold it until 4 lights are solid. So we press it and press it again. All 4 lights are solid. One thing they've said, if you're flying the drone, make sure your phone is fully charged, because otherwise the controller will try to charge your phone and it will drain the battery of the controller faster. So this warning that I've just gotten says, note, the phone is low on battery and may consume the battery of the transmitter. We recommend that you fully charge the phone before using it. So, okay. Dear user, the first time you use the aircraft, you need to activate the aircraft. Next step. Please enter the correct email address. We will bind your account and aircraft. So I've done my email address and that should be binding it now. The aircraft has been activated successfully. You can enter the flight control page. Into flight. Tips: firmware update. The current battery is not activated. Please activate it first. Activate now. Firmware update. There is a new remote control firmware upgrade available. What's new? Optimized remote control performance. Update. So this might take several minutes, up to 30 minutes they said. So let's see. Note: before and during the update, you must keep your phone plugged into the controller at all times and do not leave this app. Downloading 0%. And we might have to come back to this in a few minutes, see how long it takes. It's now 9:30, 99%. Step 2. So step 1 was to download the firmware. Step 2, the download firmware took 2 minutes. Update step 1 was very quick. Step 2 went to 99% very quickly, and then it's sitting there, so we'll just keep an eye on it. So that whole process took 4 minutes, and it got to 99% within a few seconds, and then it stuck there for about 3 minutes again, and now it's saying update complete. The update has been complete. Now please manually restart the controller. So press, turn it off, and then power it back on. Right, so the warning over in the corner is telling me the battery has been left for a long time. Please recharge it before using it. New firmware available. There is a new drone firmware upgrade available. What's new? Optimize flight control performance. So I'm assuming the first update was for the controller. This update that it's giving me now is going to be for the drone. We hit the update, download files. It's downloading it. That was real fast. Hit the update. Step 1 download 49%. For some reason the fans on the drone stopped and it's going on 55%, 57, 58, 60. We'll give it a few minutes and see once it's finally updated. I just got a beep beep out of the drone and the fan started back up, 100% updated. And then step 3, once the update is installed, manually restart the drone. So I'm just waiting for it to go over to that setting, and that was literally maybe 2 minutes. This whole process of updating the controller and updating the firmware on the drone took maybe 7 minutes so far. Update complete. Now I just need to restart the drone by pressing and power down, and then we power it back on. Change status to connected, and everything seems to be fine. And that's the whole firmware update process completed in less than 10 minutes. We'll call it 7 or 8 minutes. That's all it took. Part 3, basic settings and calibrating the drone. Under aircraft settings, we want to leave it under metric centimeters. Then we scroll down. This is where you can calibrate the drone as well. Scroll down more. We have the return to home altitude. And for this, I like to have it at about 35 meters. I find that is a perfect height to send your lines out. AI search for landing badge feature, we want to turn that on. This feature allows the camera of the drone to point down, find the landing pad, and land right on the mat. We want to turn the auxiliary light off to save battery life because we're not flying in the dark. High wind mode, we want to turn this feature on. It might affect the gimbal's stability a little bit, but for fishing we want higher wind resistance. Height above the ground below the aircraft, we want that feature on. And very important, release payload if the aircraft gets disconnected. We don't want it to fly the line back to us. We want it to drop it if it ever gets disconnected. Under the controls tab, disconnected behavior, we want the drone to return to home if it ever gets disconnected. Payload stability mode, we want turned on, and this will keep things real stable when we're flying out our fishing lines and baits. Under the FPV settings tab, we can pretty much leave everything on the default settings. Under the gimbal tab, we can leave all of this on the default settings, and you can change this as you prefer at a later stage. Next, we have the map settings tab, and under standard map, it pretty much gives you a Google overview of the area. Satellite gives you a satellite image of your surroundings, and under hybrid is satellite with a few icons of areas and pinpoints around you. For our use, we will just use the satellite view, and this will give us a good enough indication of the area we're fishing in. Under the smart battery tab, we can see the battery's health, and the only setting when double check here is the smart low battery warning is turned on. General purpose tab, you'll find the serial numbers of your controller and your drone. Okay, so for calibrating the drone, all we need to do is go back into the settings tab. At the aircraft settings, you're going to say start calibration. Then all you need to do They say hold the drone up about 1.5 meters from the bottom. I just hold it out straight like that, and we want to do a clockwise turn. 1, 2, right, then camera down, hold it like that again. 1, 2, and it's all done. That didn't take me 30 seconds, and it's all calibrated. So you only need to do this once. You don't need to do it after every flight. The only time I've ever done it was the day I took it out of the package, and I've flown 7 or 8 times with it now, and I've never had to calibrate the drone again. The only reason you might need to calibrate the drone if you travel a long distance, say out of town to a different city, or if there's high interference, say electrical power lines or black sand, then it might ask you to recalibrate the drone, but as you saw, it just takes you 30 seconds to do it. So the Aeroo drone has a 1 kilogram payload. Now let's see how much stuff we can actually fit on there before we reach its 1 kilogram max payload. So that's on grams. Here I have my 6 drone dropper traces, 39 grams. Now let's add my backbone section. This is my 2-meter dropper line. Here is a 5-ounce sinker, 290. I run a burley cage as well. 2 pieces of bait. I'll easily get 6 big baits out of that. We're at 420 grams. I normally get 3 fills out of a bag like this. So let's put the whole bag on there. There we go. I'm only at 537 grams. So let's say we add another 6 traces and another couple of baits. And we're only at 661 grams. And we're not even hitting the 1 kilo yet. So 12 hooks, 4 pieces, big pieces of bait, burley cage, burley pellets, sinker, backbone. I mean, how much more do you want to put out there? Okay guys, that's us ready to fly. We all baited up, we've got the rod and everything in. The sun's up, and we're just gonna set up our phone. And very important with the phone is to turn the airplane mode on, so that just saves you if anyone tries to phone you while you're flying the drone. It doesn't interfere with the signal. We want the aerials to be up. Now we can turn our controller on first, so that can power up. So always turn the controller on first. So first thing to turn on, last thing to turn off. And I'll fire up the Aeroo app so long. Now we can fire up the drone. Short press, long press. We have our safety release clip at the end of our line, so if any snags do happen on the way out, it'll just pull out. Grab the drone like that. There's a push button right here. You push the button and it actually closes the pin. I'm going to put that in, close the pin, and we're good to fish. And then I put the line under the one of the legs. That just helps any tangles from happening. Now we can go into device. So this time I want to show you an extra feature, another feature this drone has, and that is the waypoint drop. So if I use, instead of using the push button, if I use the drop on the screen, it will give me a prompt if I want to save the waypoint. So if I say yep, save waypoint, the next time I'm flying out, I can fly the drone to exactly that same spot where I've been catching fish, so I can drop my baits in the same spot every time. Okay, we got the ready to fly. Start the motors, and I always wait for it to say
the home point has been updated. Please be mindful of the new return to home point.
I always wait for that prompt that it said the home point's been updated, so I know it knows where to come back to. Okay, so now I hit the point there and I say drop waypoint, and it asked me to save the waypoint. It's now dropped it, and now I can hit return to home.
Return to home.
So now it's marked a place on the map right there, and if I tap that, it has updated a waypoint for me right there where I drop my baits, and next time I fly I can just tap on that waypoint and say go fly. It'll fly at the same distance or same height and same distance and hover right above the spot, and then I just drop the baits right back on that spot. Really cool feature I love. So now I want to show you guys the waypoint flying. So all we got to do first, I get the home screen up with a waypoint right there. Then the next thing we got to do is wait for the satellite and for it to say it's ready to fly. Right, now we got the ready to fly on the screen there. So we'll start the motors.
The home point has been updated. Please be mindful of the new return to home point.
Right, and then we got to lift her up, and while she's flying we'll just get the baits off the ground. Okay, now we can hit that waypoint and we can say go, and she will fly out there by herself. All I got to do is spool the reel. So first she's going up to the height that I set previously, which is 35 meters, and off she goes. She'll fly to that waypoint and then hover right above it, and once she hovers right above it I'll just hit the button and return or hit the button to drop the bait, and then I'll hit the return to home and she'll come straight back. On the app I can see where she's flying to. It's halfway there. I can feel her slowing down now, slowing down by herself. Alright, and I hit the release and return to home. And she's dropped it at exactly the same spot as I was before, and we know there's fish, so we're just going to hope for another one soon. And while we get this line tight, she's coming back. Yep. How cool is that, man? How cool is that? I'm actually just gonna go catch her. Because that helps save a bit of battery life. Normally I have the remote and I just bring it back down manually. She just lands in my hand and turns off while the remote is over there. How cool is that? Alright, so I've turned the setting AI search for landing pad on in the settings, aircraft settings, and we want to see how close to the landing mat or home it lands using that AI search for landing pad function. Start her up. And I hover her. Right, up, push it forward, and
return to home.
return to home. hovers there. On the screen she's finding the H. And that's close enough. I'm now using the black side, see if that makes any difference.
The home point has been updated. Please be mindful of the new return to home point.
Okay, I've given it time to update it. Lifting up, flying it forward. Hit the return to home.
Return to home.
Camera faces down and search for the landing pad. And down. It actually circles the landing pad this time. Keep circling the landing pad. Now it's hovering straight above it. Okay, camera faces up and it starts descending. Lands right on the landing pad. The next thing we want to look at is the intelligent flight modes. So we have the normal mode, which we normally fly in, a waypoint mode where you can set up waypoints for it to fly to, and then we have the follow me mode, and in follow me mode we have follow me and active track. Okay, so for waypoint mission flying, what you want to do is get into your map by clicking on the left bottom corner. That'll bring up the map of your location, and then next you want to go into your AI flight modes, choose waypoint mode, waypoint mission planning, and that'll bring you into this section. On the right hand side there's a pencil. You hit the pencil and then you can either draw a line where you want it to fly, or I choose the middle one with the 3 dots, and that gives me a pinpoint of where I want to fly to. Then next you hit a point where you want it to fly to, you click on the point, then you can set the height of that point, and we want that just to be higher than our surroundings, and we'll fly that at around about 30 something meters. You can set the hover time, which we want to be about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, and then on the right hand bottom corner you hit upload and it'll upload that to the drone. So now you can click out of that and you can go add, and you can put a second dropper, say over there, and then the same thing, click that and set your height to around about 30 something meters, which is just higher than our surroundings. Have a 2-second hover time, and we hit the upload again, and that'll upload waypoint number 2, and then we can click add again. We can set waypoint number 3 over there, same thing, do the height, do the hover time and upload. So that sends it to the drone and uploads it to the drone. So all we got to do now is start the drone. I want to go back to my settings. I want to record video, make sure the video is turned on, then I can go back to my map settings. Then you have to lift the drone up to about 3 meters high. So as you get up to 3 meters high, now you just say start in the bottom right hand corner, and you say waypoint mode and you say OK. The drone will go up to its set height, and it'll fly over to your first waypoint. and on the screen we can see, we can check where it's going, or we can switch back and forth to camera mode, and I can adjust the camera while we're flying to look at what we want to see. It turns, flies over to the second waypoint. It has now reached the second waypoint. It's hovering there for 2 seconds, turns, flies over to waypoint number 3. It hovers there, and at this stage all I got to do is press return to home. It'll turn, and it's now returning to home. Now it turns around in the direction that it was when it took off. It comes down for a landing. And it turns itself off. Okay, so the second mode we want to look at is the follow me mode. So in follow me mode, it will follow the controller and not the person, so it doesn't matter if you're going in behind things and the drone can't see you. It's actually just following the signal on the controller, and you can then move the drone around to actually see what you want it to see. So first of all, we got to lift off the drone, we got to start the motors, and you got to hover it about 3 meters up. Right, I can turn it to then face me, and I'll hit record at this stage and tilt the camera down so the drone is actually now facing me, facing the controller. And at this stage I hit the AI flight, go follow me, and then execute immediately. And now the drone is following the controller. I can still adjust the drone to look at whatever I want to look at. I can tilt the camera down and up. So at this stage it'll be just following the controller. If I go towards the drone, it goes back. If I go further away, it follows me here. If I run down the field, so this one, it doesn't keep you in the center of the shot, but it just follows you as you walk along, and it just keeps following me. If I leave the controller on the field here and I walk back and I walk away, it doesn't follow me, it follows the controller. So it's just sitting there looking at the controller, it's not following me. To get out of this mode, all you have to do is in the left hand top corner you hit stop, and it will stop following the controller. The next mode we want to check is the follow me mode, active track. And for this mode it'll track an object, right? So you gotta draw a little block around the object you want it to track. And you say go. And now it's following me. I can put the controller down and I can walk, and it keeps on following me and not the controller. So now at this stage it's actually following me, and I can run down and it'll just keep me in the center of the shot at all times and run away. And it just keeps tracking me. all the time. Okay, and to stop this again, just hit the stop top left hand corner, and that's it. So this drone has 3 flight modes on the controller. You have filming mode, which is real slow. You have the normal mode, which we use to fly in normally, and that is a sports mode. So in filming mode it will go really slow, just to keep it nice and stable footage. And I hit it all the way forward, it just goes really slow and it gets really nice video quality. Right, next mode we want to try is just normal mode. And in normal mode it already goes pretty fast, and this is what I use for fishing, which is still pretty fast already. And then the next setting is your sports mode, and in this mode it'll go really fast, but it won't have such stable video quality. So my overall thoughts of this drone, it's really well built, really stable, flies in just about any conditions, has a 50 km/h wind resistance, multi-purpose drone for filming, for fishing, for payload dropping, anything you want to do with it. And I gotta say well done to Aeroo for making this drone and upgrading their previous one. I really love this drone. I've had so much fun with it lately, catching fish, filming. So thank you Aeroo for sending me this this drone. I really appreciate it, and it's well worth the money. All the features this drone has compared to other drones for the half the price, really. Amazing work Aeroo, I love it.